Welcome to Network Africa. Coming up on the program, the United States warns travelers of possible attacks both on air and land in Kenya. Then Angola vows to protect its rhino and elephants from poachers. And later, the United Nations condemns the Uganda authorities for having banned the internet during the last presidential election. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am BC Adebayo. Just when things seem to have relatively cooled down in Kenya, the authorities might have a whole lot to worry about in terms of security. The U.S. State Department has issued a travel warning to U.S. citizens to avoid visiting Lamu, Nairobi's eastern neighborhood, and the country's northeastern counties. The warning further cites a U.S. Embassy recommendation that U.S. citizens should visit Mombasa's Old Town only during daylight hours and avoid using the Likoni ferry due to safety concerns. The new notice also includes a reference to an updated advisory to U.S. air operators concerning possible attacks with ground-launched missiles. The State Department's new travel warning comes at a time when Kenya's tourism industry is striving to persuade potential visitors that the country is safe to visit. While still talking security in Kenya, at least 6 people have been killed in Mandera County in northeastern Kenya after gunmen sprayed 2 buses with bullets. A government official, Frederick Sheisha, says the attack happened in the capital, Nairobi. In a separate development, Kenyan human rights lawyer Willie Kimani, who has been missing since last week, has been found dead. The Justice Mission says Mr. Kimani's body was found along with that of his taxi driver, Joseph Mururi. A third man, Mr. Kimani's client, Josephat Mwenda, is still missing. Well, let's get more details about what's going on in Uganda from the lead consultant at Sovereign Insight, Mr. Vincent Kimosop. Mr. Kimosop, thank you for joining us on the program.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Let's start with what happened with the 6 who were killed on the bus. Do we know who was responsible and why it happened?
It is not evident who was responsible, but the circumstances under which this happened are suspicious, and also the case that the advocate was pursuing and the person representing have provided speculative context for the same. This was a case involving a police officer and a taxi, motorcycle taxi. That is a poor Kenyan. So when authorities are involved and knowing that other things have happened in the past, there are questions and speculation. So it's not known who is responsible. There are therefore questions concerning the circumstances. And the people involved give further to speculation.
And how are the authorities responding to the U.S. warning to its citizens who will be flying to northeast Kenya in the near future?
Of course, you know, the authorities in the U.S. have a responsibility of guiding their citizens on where to visit, and that's purely intelligence. And you're aware there's been increased terror activity, even in Turkey, and there are collaborators in Somalia. So the context under which this is happening is because of the international nature of tourism. Of course, it's injurious to our tourism industry, but at the same time, it's something that even the Kenyan authorities have no control over it, other than to demonstrate commitment and resolve in the fight against terror. So it's an unfortunate development. It's going to affect tourism, but at the same time, we appreciate that the U.S. authorities have a responsibility to their citizens.
Or has the warning had any effect among the Kenyan residents? Is there relative calm? Mr. Kimosop, is there relative calm in Kenya despite the U.S. warning?
I didn't get the second part clearly, but what Kenyan authorities can do is to visibly demonstrate resolve and actually retool and better coordinate the fight against terror. We also seek for collaboration and support from stronger systems that the Americans have to detect and have intelligence that is actionable, as seen in them guiding and advising the citizens not to visit Lamu.
And what about the human rights lawyer who was kidnapped last week and found dead? Have the authorities made any headway in finding the killers or establishing a motive?
The information that I have is that the Inspector General issued a statement indicating that action will be taken, investigations will be undertaken. And also we have, the latest information is that police officers involved in this case have been arrested and with the direction that they should be prosecuted. So hopefully action will be seen and that results will be seen. Justice not only to be seen to be done, but to be done to the families and also to the people, to the church that we have at hand. That is the desire of the police to use this to restore their confidence and in this public confidence into this institution.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kimosop, for your time.
Yeah.
Angola is a transit country for illegal ivory trade to world markets in China. But if things go in the direction which the Angola's government hopes, it will successfully close down the local markets where ivory is traded openly.
Angola is stepping up efforts to fight against poaching and ivory trade. The government has said it will implement tough new laws and border controls. Angola has also signed the Elephant Protection Initiative, a Pan-African agreement aimed at curbing wildlife trafficking. From 1.2 million in the 1970s, the number of elephants roaming Africa has plunged to around 400,000. Poaching for ivory killed 30,000 a year from 2010 to 2012. The future for rhinos, now numbering less than 30,000, is even bleaker unless poaching is checked. Alexander Rhodes is the CEO of Stop Ivory, a global organization that is fighting to end elephant poaching in Africa.
This is in front of us is a demonstration of what the Angolan government is doing. It is taking action to tackle the poaching here. A new law was put in 2013. The police in this region have been activated to arrest people who are smuggling this ivory, having killed the elephants, and they're being prosecuted. Almost all of this ivory is evidence in ongoing court cases, and those people will be brought to justice. What needs to happen now is the law needs to be made stronger.
It's been 2 decades since the end of a 27-year-old civil war in Angola. The conflict devastated the country's economy and infrastructure. Poaching was rampant, decimating the local rhino and elephant populations. Angola is collaborating with international conservation organizations and neighboring countries to restore and preserve its wilderness.
Very, very difficult to find the elephants because during the war years many of them disappeared. We look at the landscape and try and find routes that would be very remote, and we'll go and investigate those for signs of elephant first, and then we'll look at locating them. So we found them on the Kembu River in the catchment.
In Angola, ivory-made sculptures and curios are sold openly at the Benfica market. The government has pledged to shut down domestic ivory sales. Augusto Mendes has been working in Benfica for 8 years. He says he no longer uses ivory to create his pieces. Wooden elephant sculptures require tusk. If I sold these items with no tusk, customers will ask for the tusk, so we used a white plastic material to make the tusk. Poachers in Africa can sell the horns of a single dead rhino for the equivalent of about $50,000 in local markets, earning in one night what would take them many years in regular employment.
Still ahead on Network Africa, the UN condemns Ugandan authorities for banning the internet during the last presidential election.